Welcome to the GlamLife Podcast, where we empower and inspire beauty professionals to take their careers to the next level. Your host, Victoria, is a certified business coach with over a decade of experience in the beauty industry, helping countless beauty professionals start and grow successful businesses. Now she's sharing her knowledge and expertise with you. Whether you're just starting out in the beauty industry or looking to take your business to new heights, this podcast is for you, covering topics like community, management, branding, and much more. So join us on this journey to build the beauty business of your dreams.
Hi, good morning. My name is Victoria Rocca. You might know me as Victoria Glam if you follow me over on Instagram. And if you don't worry about it because you can follow me right here on Spotify. Listen, I missed our Monday morning date and I am heartily sorry for that. I had a stomach virus this week, but I didn't want to leave you hanging going into Valentine's Day weekend with no food for thought. So I asked in my GlamLife community group, if you guys could pick one topic right now, what would it be? And pretty much everyone that I've asked has said that they're having trouble with difficult clients. So my friend Kimberly, who I talk about all the time, the famous Kimberly, was telling me she recently took something off her menu because she doesn't feel incredibly confident in it, even though she's been doing it for years now. And someone recently, I don't know if they complained or if I'd have to go back and listen to her message again, but either they complained or she looked at it and was just like, I don't love it. And, she started feeling like, I just want to take it off the menu. I feel really unconfident in that service. Then my girlfriend Arlette was saying that she had a difficult experience with a previous client. One person left her a bad review on Google and is not even the client. It's like the client left a review and then they had a friend leave a review also, which is A, super unfair, and B, like, how do you defend yourself against that? It just seems vindictive and petty. So how do we keep ourselves from getting in these situations? Kimberly's situation is simple. She just did it for herself. She said, you know what, if I don't love doing this service, then I'm not going to provide this service. And I think that that's super rational, super reasonable. And just because you paid for a course and took the course doesn't mean that you now need to go and offer this service for the rest of your life. Try something out. If you don't like it, if it doesn't seem like a good fit, if you don't feel like you're confident in it years down the road, it's because you're not passionate about it. Not because you suck. You're great at other things. It's because you don't love it enough to dedicate the time to become great at it. You can't tell me that there's anything in permanent makeup or in aesthetics or even in hair that you can't execute perfectly, professionally. There's nothing that you can learn that you can't execute professionally. Some of you are going to say, oh no, there's one or two things that I suck at. That's because you don't love it enough to chase it down to become perfect at it. That's exactly what's going on. I know, I speak from experience because math, right? I'm not great at math. I don't want to be great at math. I hired an amazing CPA. I married someone who is math-minded, and I close my eyes and stick my fingers in my ears and ignore it. I just don't talk about math. I don't try and figure things out. I don't try and do anything other than count. Even if I have to subtract, I double check myself. Whip out a calc. Because I can't actually take math off the menu. Eventually it comes back around. But I don't have to, sell it for money. I don't have to hold myself to professional standards. I didn't say I'm so bad at math and I don't love it. I don't want to get any better at it. So I'm actually going to, I think I'm going to open a bookkeeping service. Why the fuck would I do that? So if there's a service on your menu that you don't feel you're very great at and you are not inspired, driven, drawn to, salivating for the chance to get really good at it and do it 1,000 times to become a perfectionist, there's no shame in taking it off the menu and saying, you know what, tried it, didn't love it, it wasn't for me, not going to do it. Take it off the menu. Who cares? One of the girls at my shop, in my opinion, is very good at tiny tattoos, fine line tattoos, anything under 2x2. She's just very artistic. She's very good at I don't know, everything that she puts her mind to. She's the only person I've ever met who picked up a microblade the very first time and perfectly microbladed. I was like, damn, have you taken a class before? Never. So I was confused when she said she didn't feel confident enough in the work she was putting out to continue doing it. I was like, but everybody loves your tattoos. And if you don't do it, that means I have to do it, which means I need to go and take a mentorship somewhere because I am not the best at it yet. And she was like, well, you're going to have to do that then. If you want to sell these, you're going to have to do it because I don't want to sell them. I don't want to do it. If you really were pressed, if someone were to tell you, okay, don't think, just spit it out. How do you feel about this service? I think probably the first thing out of your mouth would be, I don't enjoy it, or I don't like it, or I don't want to. And all of those things tell me that it's not a difficult client. It's that you're not perfect at it because you don't love it. Your heart's not in it. And don't torture yourself. The whole reason we decided to open our own beauty businesses was really so that we could be more in control of our life, right? And not just in your schedule. Yes, of course, that means that you decide when you work and when you don't, and whom you work with and what you charge. But it also means that you get to decide what services you're providing. Don't get me started on people who think that they work for themselves because they're 1099, but actually they have a boss who tells them what they can and can't sell and how much they can charge. That you don't work for yourself. That is just someone committing tax fraud and using you to do it. Lots of that going on. Oh my God, so much tax fraud going on. But let's move on to the other kind of difficult client. One who comes in and receives a service, and I want you to think really, really truthfully. Do some self-reflection before you answer this question. The person you're thinking of, who you provided service for, who was unhappy, was it really your best service? Was it? Was it really your best service? Would you take a picture of how it's healed and post it and say, isn't she crazy? Would you do that? Okay. If you would, then she's crazy. Then she's crazy. No, if you confidently can say, with all of the ethics and morals in the world, I did my best work here, and she's complaining, quote, for no reason, as people like to put it. There's always a reason, but she's complaining for no valid reason. Then I would say the best thing to do in that situation is the buck stops here. Sorry, babe, it's part of being a business owner. You own it. You say, oh, I'm so sorry you feel that way. I don't agree with her. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, I'm so sorry you feel that way. And then you can either offer some kind of remedy if there's one that's easily available to you, even if you think you're not in the wrong. Or you can, if she's belligerent, if she's rude, if she's disrespectful, if her demands are unrealistic, you can say, here's a list of someone else in town who does this service, who deserves the headache. And this is where you eat it, right? Because you are the business owner. The buck stops with you. So you don't necessarily have to refund. You don't necessarily have to do the service again for free. What you can say is what I said a very long time ago. In my first year of business, I had someone who I knew was a red flag. She came in for a consultation and I could tell she was getting so frustrated with me. She was getting almost aggressive with me. I knew that if I were to say, hey, you know what? I don't want to work with you, I knew that she was going to cause a scene. And at the time, I was expecting, and I was located inside my friend's salon. So there were lots of people around who would be really uncomfortable if she got aggressive or loud or whatever. So instead, I said, you know what? Let's tentatively put it down for whatever date at whatever time. Let me think about it, and I'll give you a call. She's like, all right, cool. Books the service, and she leaves. The next day, I called her, or maybe I texted her so that it was in writing. I think I texted her. And I remember where I was. I was sitting in my car in the mall parking lot because, hello, shopping therapy. I was going to get this out. I was going to put my phone on silent, put it in my back pocket, not even look at it. And I was going to go walk around the mall until I felt better because I was anxious about this because, she's a little incendiary. So I sent her a very carefully worded text message that said, I thought long and hard about our consultation yesterday. And in my heart of hearts, I know that I do not have, listen to what I'm saying, I do not have the tool set to provide you with the results you desire. Or maybe I said that you want so that it sounded a little more human. I'm not saying I'm not good enough. I'm saying, if you read between the lines, your expectations are too high. But it comes from a place of sounding like I'm saying, listen, I don't think that I can give you the results you're looking for. I just don't know how to do the thing that you want. What you want is at a higher level of execution than what I am capable of currently. That's the way that you make it sound. That way you are eating the blame. It doesn't sound accusatory. It doesn't sound like you're saying, you know what, you're really difficult, bitch, and I don't want to fucking work with you. It doesn't sound like that. It sounds actually very thoughtful of you to say, I am intimidated by the results that you're looking for. I know that someone's capable of them. Unfortunately, it's just not me. I'm not capable of it. And then the second half of that is to offer a solution. So I said, but you know what? I do know someone in town who I can happily refer you to, who I believe can give you these results. And then I immediately gave the name and number of a place that I thought deserved a freaking headache. They love to give other people headaches. So I was like, here you go. Here, have a headache. And do you know that this lady who was never going to be happy, no matter who did her anything, no matter who did her service, no matter who charged her whatever price, no matter who spoke to her any certain way, she was never going to be happy. I could tell she was a red flag from hell. This lady, a couple weeks later, maybe 2 weeks later, sent me a message while, by the way, I was in the middle of a paying client. I got a ding on my watch, and it was a picture, but of course I couldn't really see it on my watch. And the message said, done. I was like, that's weird. What does that mean? So I go and look on my phone after I was done with the client, and I see, and I could tell where she was by the background of the picture. She was at the place that I thought deserved the headache. Good for her. Good for them. And she said, done. And it's a picture of her brows that someone else had done. And I was like, oh, she's going to hate those. And of course, it was not what she wanted done, right? That's not how she told me she specifically wanted them done. Okay. I didn't even respond, I don't think, because really, she sent me that message to be nasty. She wanted me to know that she paid someone else to do it and that someone else was, quote, more capable than me. You know what? I'm jumping to a conclusion there if you don't know this other part of the story that I left out. After I sent her that message, she very quickly messaged me back. You know what? Good. I didn't want you to do them anyway. That's what she messaged me back while I was... Actually, I was at the shoe store when she messaged me that with my girl, Elena. What's up, Elena Hernandez? Elena was the manager at that time at the shoe store, and we were hanging out, and I got that message. Anyway, so then cut to 2 weeks later when she texts me, done, that she had them done somewhere else. I didn't even respond. A couple, I don't know, maybe a month and a half goes by. All of a sudden, I get a DM request from her, same lady. She was like, hey, I don't think we got off on a good foot. But, I'm really not happy with the way that my brows are done. I was hoping that you would reconsider, whatever. And I accepted the message request and I messaged her back. I'm so sorry. I'm actually booked for the next 18 months. Good luck in your journey. Which it's not a lie. I am booked 18 months ahead because I book everyone's annual when they check out for their 8 to 10 week touch up. So technically I do have things on the books 18 months from now. Could I fit anyone in between now and then? Yeah, sure I could, but I didn't want to. And I own my own business, so I don't have to. I don't have to engage with difficult clients. I don't have to. Now, if you've already done the service and the service wasn't perfect and you can admit that to yourself, you're woman enough to admit that to yourself, first of all, hats off to you. Admitting that you are not the best is the first step to improving. Secondly, now what do we do? Now you have to come to some kind of remedy with this client. So if you messed it up and it's permanent, like permanent makeup, then you might need, first, before this even becomes a problem, I would formulate a great relationship with a doctor who hopefully has someone on staff who's using laser to remove brows and maybe can give you a discount based on referrals. I would refer them to that doctor and it's your fault. I would probably pay for at least the first 3 sessions. Yes, that could net you around $900. But it's your fault. It's your fault. You're not perfect at it. You decided to charge money for it and you put it on someone's face forever. So pay to remove it so that you don't get sued. And, or I don't know, I guess she still might sue you. You might have her sign a document saying, I promise not to sue you if you pay for, the first 3 sessions of laser or whatever. And then, then don't do it again until you've gotten significantly better. Go back to your trainer, take more models, work on practice skins, take an advanced course, whatever the case may be. If it's color theory, call up Carla. If it's a matter of, expectations, nerves, actual technique, like just working with your machine and you want somebody to look at your practice skins, I'm more than happy to help you with that. I think whatever it is that the issue is, there's always some kind of remedy. It doesn't have to come to you guys calling each other ugly and fat and leaving each other 1-star reviews. But sometimes that happens. I have a 1-star review. I have one-star review, but mine doesn't really count in this conversation because it wasn't a client. It was someone I got into an argument with in the parking lot. And it wasn't even an argument. It was just matching energies. She was ugly to me. Okay, here's a story. Story time. So when I get to my shop, this was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I think it was a year ago. I don't know. Get to my shop at like 10-ish a.m. And no, it was, I don't know. It might have been earlier than that. Anyway, I was waiting. I was supposed to meet a client there. So if my client was at 10 a.m., it was probably like 9:30 because I always get there early. But Taylor was already there with a student and her model. And I was coming, and then I had a client coming. So that's 5 cars already in the parking lot. I only have 9 spots, babe. I only have 9 spots. And this lady was in the parking lot, and she was parked across 3 parking spots, like at a diagonal angle. And she had a really bad flat. So I didn't immediately go up to her. I went inside to see if maybe that was somebody who was inside, like maybe that person was already inside. So I said, "Oh my God, did you see that car out front?" Taylor was like, "Yeah, she was here before we got here." I asked her if she needed anything, and she said no. So she's been here at least an hour. So I go back outside as the owner. I had a bottle of water to give her and said, "Hey, how's it going? Do you need me to call you a tow truck?" She was like, "No, I'm fine." And she had that attitude. Now look, I know she's having a rough morning. Okay, fine, I get it. So I said, "Oh, okay, someone's on the way." Yeah, someone's on the way. They're around the corner. Now, I don't know what that means, around the corner, because I am on a straight strip for miles either way on the side of a highway. But okay, so they're nearish by. I said, "Okay, and they're going to change your tire?" "Yeah, they're going to change my tire." I matched energies so fast. I did not offer that bottle of water. And I said, "Oh, in my parking lot. Lucky me. Because she's taking up 3 of my 9 spots. 3. Okay, so that leaves me with 1 open spot, and I have 3 booth renters. And if any of them show up, they're going to have a client with them. We're automatically out of spots now. Like, we're 1 short. Do you get it? So look, me and math real quick on that one, huh? Piece that together. Whatever. You know what? Fucking figure out your car. You got an hour, or I am calling a tow truck. Fuck you. So I go back inside. And then we get a 1-star review that was like, most of the girls are nice, but beware of the owner. She's not the nicest. And I wear that as my scarlet letter. I wear that as my red badge of courage, honey. That is my armor. When my kid stomps his foot and crosses his arms and says, "You're a meanie," I say, "I know. Google me." I could have been nicer. I could have been more patient. I could have been kinder and understood that she's coming from a place of she's having a really shitty day. But she also could have been kinder for the fact that this is a private parking lot that you have decided to take up 3 spots in. You didn't apologize or just speak to me, kindly and as an individual. So I don't give a fuck that I have a 1-star review on Google for that. If I had one that came from a client that I had spent hours with and had a genuine relationship and felt that I had given her my best and she left me a 1-star review, I would be gutted. So, like I said, my 1-star on Google doesn't really count in this conversation because there's no EQ to it. There's no emotional quote component to it. So if that is what has happened to you, where it almost feels like a betrayal because it's someone that you spent time with who said that they loved their results and then left you a 1-star review after, going back and forth trying to either get a free service or trying to get a refund or whatever. Well, my former advice still stands. You need to look really well at the work and decide whether or not you are actually at fault. If you are, you need to remedy the situation. If you are not, you still own the problem, but you pawn them off elsewhere, or you find a way to say, I can no longer help you, or I can't service you anymore. And you have to move on. And the fact that it hurts, that it stings, that it hurt your ego, or that it hurt you emotionally is something that you're going to have to work out in therapy. Sorry. But your clients are not, they're not your best friends. They're not your relatives. They don't owe you that. And if, it's a transactional relationship from the jump. From the beginning, you ask for a deposit. In the midst of it all, they are expected to pay. And then at the end, they decide that they don't like you or that they're trying to, fleece you out of some cash or whatever. You don't get to say like, oh, you hurt my feelings, you betrayed me. That might be true. Your feelings might be hurt, but that's not their responsibility because it was always a transactional relationship. The fact of the matter is, if that's what they're doing, trying to fleece you out of money, trying to get a free service, trying to get a refund or whatever, it's not your friend hurting your feelings. And framing it that way for yourself might actually help you to bounce back from it. It's not your friend hurting your feelings. It's an operator who came in probably with an agenda. And typically they are very kind in the beginning because, honey catches more flies than vinegar. So they think, oh, it'll be a lot easier to push her around or to push her over, to get her to bend her rules or her policies or to get a refund or to get a free service if I'm kind. And then it's once you stand your ground and hold your boundaries that this person actually can get nasty with you. And I've seen that in the past. I had a previous student try and do that. Now, listen, every inch of my shop is on camera. Every inch. Even when I had my previous shop before I purchased this one. So once upon a time, I had this gal come in. She was going to take a class with me. She did take a class with me. And she paid, and then she thanked me. She did her models. She was there all the days that you're supposed to be there. She did her models. She thanked me on the way out. You could see her holding her certificate and saying she had a great time. And then she immediately called her bank and did a chargeback. And I won the chargeback because I have you on camera doing all the things that are in our training agreement. So you can't say that it was services not as described or whatever. And it took about 90 days to get that money back. But I know in those 90 days, she probably started feeling like, haha, I got one over on her. I got it. And then one day the $4,000 left her account. She probably had a fucking heart attack and she deserved it. Man, fuck you. That is criminal behavior. That's fraud. And it's not the same at all as someone who really truly was dissatisfied with their services. If that were the case, then I would immediately remediate that with them. I would say, okay, let's go back into the classroom together and how can I make this right for you? But that wasn't the case. She didn't even come to me and say that she had a problem. She just wanted her money. She wanted the class, the certificate, and the money back, and it doesn't work that way. So if someone's trying to fleece you out of services or out of cash, scorched earth on them. Go for it. All right, you guys, I have a student meeting to get to, for my coaching services. I have a coaching session to get to. I'm going to go and jump into that. Thank you so much for waiting for me. I know I wasn't here on Monday, but I will be for you next Monday. So I am going to leave now and I will see you then. Bye.